would like to
For the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible for all.
pictures. Thank you, Scott.
Good job, guys.
The next thing on the agenda is the approval of agenda. Dr. Barrow.
Dr. Marshman, everything is set on the agenda is published, and we would recommend the board approve.
For the superintendent's recommendation. Got a motion?
So moved.
Second. Anybody second? Thank you. All in favor of approving 30 commenters? Speakers will have up to 3 minutes to make their presentations. A timer will be available and visible from the podium. Please conclude your remarks when the buzzer sounds. All comments should address a matter related to Fayette County Public Schools. Speakers should be courteous and refrain from making personal attacks. In order to maintain respect for all points of view, the board requests that no clapping, booing, or any other form of support or non-support be used. Public comments are an opportunity for the board to listen to the community. Follow-up responses, if needed, will be provided by the superintendent. These requests are based on board policy BCBI. Before beginning your presentation, and the timer will begin when you start your statement. Number one is Catherine Furlong.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Furlong. I live at 25 Mossy Hollow. I have two daughters that are in the Fayette County school system. One goes to Booth and one goes to Huddleston. I actually went to Booth myself, graduated from McIntosh in 1987. Went to UGA, was a dog. Graduated from there with my bachelor's degree. Went into the Air Force, and my honorably served Air Force officer. I separated honorably as a captain. And I now am a HR manager for the DeKalb County school system, or not school system, DeKalb County government, excuse me. And so I've been working there for the government for 17 years. I am here today to talk about the Welcoming Schools Initiative. I definitely support that. I think it is a great initiative. In addition to everything else, I am also a board member of the Peachtree City PFLAG group. That's the support group that meets for gays and lesbians and transgender people like that. As you know, it's a big hot thing in the society these days, and it's really hard on some people, especially young kids. And we provide a forum for parents, for children, for friends, anybody. If you're gay, if you're straight, if you have a friend who's gay, doesn't matter what your relationship is, we're there to support you, to help you talk through your issues and stuff. And we have been seeing a lot of stuff lately, a lot less people coming, being concerned about being gay, lesbian, that sort of thing, a lot more on the gender identity issues. And so probably 2/3, maybe 80% of the families that are there, the parents that are there that have transgender kids, or the kids that come, go off in a little separate support group, are there for gender issues. And so I think this is an excellent opportunity as transgender people. And I am out and I have transitioned and I am working. I just appreciate all you guys do.
I've lived in, our family has lived in Peachtree City for the last 34 plus years. I'm retired now, my wife's retired, and we have our daughter and grandchildren here. The nurses training, nurses implies medical profession. To know why the program is Georgia's Safe Schools and not by Atlanta Health Services or Atlanta Children's Health Services. Why is this information or directives coming from a non-health organization? Okay, and I would also like to know if you object to what's being taught, what are the options for parents? And I'd like to know what the training is directed, what age students. Are we directing attention to these real small ones like kindergarten, first grade, or children that have maturity like children in high school? And that concludes my questions.
I just want to remind the audience that public comments are just an opportunity for us to listen, and follow-up responses will be provided by the superintendent at a later date. So. Number 3 is Susan Nashke. Let me try first. Thanks,
I
Susan.
answered almost anything.
Good evening.
Congratulations on your retirement.
My name is Susan Nashke. I live in Peachtree City, and on June 1st of this year, I retired after 23 years teaching first grade in Fayette County. So I'm really good at speaking to 6-year-olds. I'm a little nervous talking to grown-ups. I am here to commend you for taking this initiative and providing this training to our nurses in these gender issues. Although you will undoubtedly get pushback on this, you have made the right decision. And as I told my first graders, it's a hard thing to do, but we can do hard things. As educators and administrators, we are tasked with educating our students and our staff. Parents are our most important partners in this. Ideally, they are their children's first. As much as we would like to believe that all parents will do this, the fact is, and in my experience, many do not. It then falls to our nurses to do this and to respond to students who have questions, the training that you are providing, the tools they need.
Sefco, live in Fayetteville, and I serve as a senior pastor at Flat Creek. The family and I recently tremendous school system, and I know this is because, thank you for that. I mean that sincerely. As a parent who will be raising 2 daughters in the Fayette County schools, male and female, and provide in my resource, which I have already done in sending. I hope you would all take a look of praying for you this evening. May I pray for you? Father, it is in the name for how you have feared of Jesus Christ, we can have assurance of our purpose here on earth and now.
Wilson.
My name is Judy Wilson, Fayetteville. I want to thank you for the heat that you take, and we brought some. We know you've had to face things that alone, and we weren't here for you. Voting Georgians and here to protect Georgia's children. We're going to be here. We're going to be here listening to you. We're going to be here talking to you. We're going to be finding out what's going on in our schools. I have watched this. We have a truth. It comes from God Himself. This is Fayette County. This is not New York. This is values of this community. We put in your care the most precious thing that we have ever had and ever will have, can be whatever they feel like. Some children feel like throwing rocks. It's just insanity. And I understand why you have done what you have done here. You've allowed outside people to come in. I have a suggestion. What kind of a creature would I be? Souls of our children. We're not going to give that up. We're going to do whatever is required to make that go away. And we're going to trust you to make sure that happens. We're going to be praying for you. I promise you this. We will stand with you. We'll stand beside you. We'll kneel for you. But if you allow our children's minds and hearts to be assaulted, we'll stand against you. Thank you.
Number 6 is Vicki Leopold.
Good evening, Superintendent Barrow, board members. I'm a mental health practitioner. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I've worked with children with special needs and emotional disturbances and their families for over 20 years. I read with interest, concern, and distress the article in The Citizen about school nurses and gender talks. I wholeheartedly support the no bullying program however, this can be accomplished without transgender education. Normal childhood sexual development is a process. Experimentation and questioning are not unusual. Identification with one's gender evolves over time or not. A child needs the freedom to go through this natural process without being coached or any interference. Labeling a child who's distressed with their gender as transgender is not something the school district needs to be involved in. If a child is particularly unhappy with their body or gender, this is not a medical issue, this is an emotional issue. Families aware of how in elementary school need to have gender talks, transgender sexuality. There are a variety of opinions on this, and it's a private matter for families. Families have the right to support their child and teach their children their values and beliefs. Schools ought not to be teaching children ideas. We can look at our to address academics, respect for open and civil discourse, not just respect for physical differences, appreciation of democracy and resiliency, so that when they start falling apart because they hear other points of view, they can pull themselves back together. Superintendent Barrow, board members, I respectfully caution you that while you might think you are providing support, my neighbor came to speak also. Tammy, do you mind if I take a little of your time?
Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm almost finished. I respectfully caution you that while you might think you are providing support, this is a slippery slope. Easily, you can add stress and confusion, the emotional health of some of our most fragile children. Some formative time will be determined by themselves.
Holmes. You still got a minute?
That's okay, I think it.
All right, the number 8, Michelle, I'm sorry.
Hey. I'm sorry, I'm at a totally different topic. Maybe I'll give you a little break. Mine's not near as stressful as that, I don't think. My name is Michelle Whaley, and I am from Fayetteville. I have a daughter that is going into Whitewater High School. I come to the board because I have no other options.
As you know, Whitewater just recently implemented the STEM program, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. We're very excited about the program. My daughter was accepted into it. There's 2 other schools in Fayette County that also do this program. One is Sandy Creek. This will be their 3rd year, and the other is McIntosh. Whitewater has elected not to allow STEM students to have fine arts in their STEM program. I think this is a disservice to our students. There are many articles, I've brought a lot, that emphasize the need to have an art outlet for our students. It increases decision-making, creativity. It's a break from science, technology, engineering, and math. Sandy Creek allows their students to take fine arts. McIntosh allows their students to take fine arts. Whitewater will not. With the principal, their course schedule, which allows PE and health in their freshman year. The other schools allow PE and health to be taken online through the Georgia Virtual Classroom, which was recommended to me by Kelly Floyd, a counselor at Whitewater. It is not being allowed as an option. They are also not allowing, they say that they can't rearrange their schedules to allow for fine arts. I don't understand how the other schools are doing that. I have talked to the middle school orchestra teacher who sent an email to all of the STEM parents, said that she met with a person that works for Fayette County, Miss Ray Presley King, who said that it was an option and it was allowed and we could pursue it. Yet when I go to Whitewater, they strike me down each and every time. And I think what's important to the student, I think that's what we should look at, not what's most convenient as far as scheduling. If other schools in Fayette County can do it, why can't Whitewater? And why can't my daughter take orchestra? It's not impeding her class schedule. It's not going to make it more difficult. I realize that PE and health I would pay for. I'm not issuing anything against that. I'm not asking that. But they say it is. I'm quoting an assistant principal, Whitewater policy not to allow you to take a class outside of what they offer in their schools. And I don't understand that, and I don't understand even with the new principal that we are not allowed to take fine arts. And I think that's an option for students. Thank you.
Now, number 9, Ms. Varner Thomas.
That right. Live at 140 Old Mill Court, Fayetteville. And I'm here like most of the rest of them. It was nice to have the break. I was very interested in the article that Mr. Nelms wrote 2 weeks ago, and it hurt my heart to know that we have come to this kind of a division in Fayette County. As mentioned in the article was that the group that came in called Welcoming Schools is concerned about bullying. I'm concerned about bullying too. I was bullied as a child. I was a little fat girl. Identify with children who are bullied, and that bullying that should be out of, but to an agenda, an LGBTQ wrong. These children should be it being but if there is a gender issue, the school will be able to direct.
Christine.
I am.
All right.
So with your city, I've resided at that residence for 32 years. Before that, I spent through with God's Play School and graduate. As I understand, news is of great import. The problem is with the process. I was shocked by the decision of the superintendent, the way I was on cursory investigation that is fully engaged, moved how it is that we referred nurses, who was it, in a particular group here in Fayette County, being professionals, nurses. That explanation in the public square, in my judgment. I've been around long enough, gentlemen, to know to satisfying their perceived job. It's a noble as far out of the manual that is a manual by state organizations. So in the assessment, the next step is the referral part two in those instances was by parents. The next, all the rest of the students who seem to sensitivity training that will convey reality is.
Next is Mark Miller.
My handwriting is horrible. My name is Mark Moyle. I'm a teaching master's degree. Getting educated, be commended for that, seeking appropriate. You have a group pushing an agenda, then helping the added students who have that they were born with the proper training successful. I also think this industry has now come full productive, and that they're actually are now, instead of being proponents, are opponents. And I also believe that providing the right education for what I think that I'm asked for source to provide medically based training, and that they will have really my time.
However, you said they never asked for it, but doing so. To come in and sit in on the discussion, carte blanche discussions without parents ever being that their child is going through this confusion. Get our parents involved in a few months program. Thank you, Scott, and I'll keep an eye on that clock. I had a program through the Alliance Theater where
it takes us from what I think is the primary mission. And so in the future, as you look at these issues, as of your concern for our students, that issue.
I've got, for the main reason I know it, because I'm in blocked the traffic for it. And I think in their private Tiger Ride, they do is you have to walk, weather and everything else, that it takes the 12 minutes to teach.
Hi. My name is Dev, a daughter who graduated in 2011 from Fayette County High School, rising junior at Fayette County High School. Hopefully he'll graduate in 2019. So we've been involved for a long time in Fayette County High School and in the community, and we're very thankful for the 10-year-old right now. It's my understanding that you can ship high school of Fayette County to school. It's vitally important, the Fine Arts Department, is through music and drama. It's for like this. So I'm just encouraging you guys, thank you so much for all that you do for and ask that you would vote yes for the auditorium for us. Thank you.
16, Kevin.
I live at 475 Ridgewood Drive, Fayetteville, Georgia. Views and mores regarding how sex. Just need to look at present laws and policies to show this. Abortions, referral. Second, per Georgia Department of Education rule, the schools are directed to provide abstinence-based sexual contraceptive education. Third, per the above rule, school districts are to provide a means for parents to choose for their child not to receive sex education. Is concerning how information about sex is delivered in schools. Many other states and communities in our nations and national level advocacy organizations are progressive and liberal in their values and mores and would not support these rules and laws. Therefore, I have concern, and I believe a majority's values regarding values and mores. Recognizing there is a diversity of sexual values and mores, even within this predominantly traditional and conservative community, and in an effort to support the parent and community engaged pillar of the Georgia Department of Education, there needs to be policy set about school district employee interaction and instruction of students regarding value-sensitive sexual, sex orientation, and gender identification issues, curriculum, and parental involvement of such. For school district policy, BD, policy development, allowing for concerned citizens to originate policy proposals, I am publicly submitting a policy proposal to the superintendent regarding this issue for his review, and per the policy directive, I expect that he will bring it before you with his recommendation for your consideration. I'll forego reading the policy draft, but I will consideration upon his review. Thank you.
Is Lori White.
Back in the nosebleed section.
Today, going through the social media comments out there, and I noticed a couple of things. One, but also the public here at large, what adults were saying. No, I'm so proud to show up here tonight or more. I thought for sure in a sea of rainbow and a sea of students that are here, that they are not alone, that they are supported, and that it does get better. It will get better because of inclusion and acceptance and love and tolerance for all. Hate is not a thing. That is our primary motto in my home. I have a teenage son who is an ally, all gone not only to their putting aside any ally based on their church beliefs, etc. So suicide is my main concern when it comes to LGBTQ issues, and it's a huge issue tied to students out there. There are children, there are adults who are in a vulnerable place, and they're struggling, and they read those comments and they take them to heart, and many times they take action based on what you say. So thank you for your time, and have a great night.
Number 18 is Lee Chatham.
Hi, Lee Chatham, 1235 Maroney Street. Say something right now that's going to make people uncomfortable. When people call you names and make you feel equal, we can be equal, putting them below. God is going to be sitting down and say who's going to heaven and how to use the. It's just a first step. I'm going to say this in a funny way. I don't mind straight people as long as they act gay and.
Number 19, Linda Mink. Number 19, Linda Mink.
Thank you so much, Coweta. But I raised my sons here. Still have children here in your community. A lot of the I serve on. Mr. Twain, the gist of what he said was, you know, the job, as I understand it, of a board of education and a superintendent is to educate a child. It is not to indoctrinate. Indoctrination is the responsibility of the parent. If you've got a full-time job, Mr. Superintendent and members of this board, to take care of educating children to prepare them for the future. I too am concerned about bullying. I have seen it happen to one of my grandsons, and we took care of it. But we didn't take care of it by expecting of world throughout their life. They live, the way they talk. My parents took me from Houston, Texas. I may have talked a little funny. But it is not going such as what you're doing here. I don't know who. I hope to goodness that no to this outside organization and ask them to come into your care, trying to come into Coweta. This needs to stop.
I ended up walking. I get called to my guidance counselor and I'm told every single one of them have been trained on LGBT matters. My counselor looks at me, smiles to me, tells them my comfortable pronouns, gives me permission to change in a single stalled restroom away from the lockers, and offers to talk to any teacher for me concerning to the fact that I'm a non-binary trans person. For the very first time ever, I felt like I had a chance to be comfortable in my school. I had hope that it would get better. I had hope that it would start to expand and I wouldn't have to hide anymore. I had hope that someday it wouldn't just be that one hall. It would be the entire school. And although I am leaving now to move on to college, I want to make that hope come alive for all the other kids like me. For all the other kids in the LGBT community who have felt like they didn't matter, who have felt ashamed, alone. Because no matter who we are, in the classroom with respect, we need to stop teaching hate.
21, going older. I'd like to remind the crowd that you've been requested not to show support or non-support, clapping, moving, etc.
Good evening. My name is Billy Holder. I live at 145 Little Creek Drive. I'm the father of a 12-year-old non-binary student here in the Fayette County system, and I'm also the vice president of the Relationship Equality Foundation, housed right here in Fayette County. Thank you for this opportunity. Georgia has the 4th highest trans population in the country. So let's look around. There are about 200 people in this room. So out of that 200 people, if we were the trans population of the state of Georgia, 160 of us would report being bullied in K-12 schools. 40 of us would report a sexual assault. 80 of us physically assaulted in our K-12 schools. 128 of us knew we were trans when we were in K-12 school. One-third of all those attacks came from the administrators and teachers in our K-12 schools, and that's unacceptable. The school board mission reads, "Our mission is to forge and equip a community of learners who confidently face challenges, embrace opportunities, and positively impact our world." How can they do that if you won't teach them that it's okay to be themselves? By allowing them to freely express their true self. If you won't give teachers, administrators, nurses, counselors the tools that they need to support our students, how can they ever achieve what we set out for them? The beliefs of the board state, public education is a foundation of a free society. Schools exist to promote intellectual, social, and personal development of all students. All children can learn in a safe, supportive, and nurturing environment. Education is a partnership among students, families, schools, and community. Education comes first. Students should be prepared as independent, productive problem solvers to successfully meet the challenges of the future. The trainings and policies given to the nurses exemplify the board's commitment to this mission and to our students. By preventing protections for our students and not allowing future trainings for our educators, administrators, and school officials, I can ask you, you will fail this mission. Will this board protect